What's good, everybody? It's your boy B-Day, and it's finally here, man. We're finally at the NBA Finals. It's been long awaited. One team, the Golden State Warriors, we kind of all expected them to be in the mix again. This is their fifth consecutive Finals. They've won 3 out of the last 4. Just dynasty, right? And then on the other side, you got the Toronto Raptors, a team who this is their first finals in franchise history. It's great to see for the league because it's popularizing the sport in other nations even more than it already was, which is always good for the NBA. And it's just good to see change, I guess. It's good to see a fresh face in a room. We have Toronto with home court advantage. This is the first finals out of the 5 the Warriors have been to straight that they won't have home court advantage, and they also won't have Kevin Durant. It seems like he's definitely out for Game 1, and in my personal opinion, I feel like he's going to be out probably the whole series. I really do think, and I'm not wishing, but I really do think that he tore his Achilles or partially tore it or something like that. I don't think it's just a calf strain because, the guy hasn't even really done any basketball activities, and just the way he came up looking like someone kicked him when he injured it reminded me of my favorite player, Kobe, when he got hurt, and it just seemed like an Achilles to me. Games. I think Marc Gasol is going to be relegated a lot in this series. I don't think he's going to play too much just because of how you have to be mobile and versatile defensively against Golden State, and I don't think key number 1 for me is Kawhi Leonard's efficiency. He's been amazing for the Raptors. He's honestly looked like the best player, at least in the Eastern Conference, and probably in the whole playoffs now that KD's hurt. He's looked unstoppable, unguardable, and he's doing all of that while looking less than 100% out there on the court. But I think his efficiency is going to be a big key to the series. Without KD, obviously, Golden State still has a lot of bodies they can throw at him. They can give Iguodala probably the bulk of the responsibility on Kawhi. Klay will probably get him some. Draymond will probably get him a little bit less than Klay. Alfonso McKinney will probably get a few possessions on him just to give Iggy a break or whatever. If he can be efficient, shoot like 47, 48% or better from the field, I think the Raptors have a good chance. Now, with that being said, I don't see him doing that because I think one thing Steve Kerr has been really good at, and it's really been underappreciated, he has obviously the talent to do this, but his game plans defensively, him and Ron Adams, their assistant coach, it always seems to minimize the efficiency of the other team's best player. You look at the guys they faced. James Harden this year in the playoffs had a really great series this year and last year, but the efficiency, the field goal percentage is down from his regular season average. You look at Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, again, had great seasons and really had great playoffs until they ran into the Warriors, and their field goal percentage and three-point percentage both dropped drastically from the regular season to when they played the Warriors in the conference finals. So I think that is a big key to Kawhi and the Raptors' success. If Kawhi can shoot efficiently, if he can get to the foul line and draw some fouls on Draymond or Iguodala or whoever the defender is on him, it can bode well for Toronto. To see how easily Kawhi's scoring, does he have to exert a lot of energy to get a shot off? Is he finishing well with his bad leg, his bad quad? All these are little things to look for, and I think Steve Kerr has that in mind, and he does a really good job of minimizing the efficiency of the other team's best player. Number 2, the second factor is Pascal Siakam versus Draymond Green, that little matchup. Obviously, it's not the superstars of either team, because I believe Steph and Kawhi um, essentially cancel each other out in this series. And I just think this is important in the sense that Pascal, if you look at the Sixers series when the Raptors played them, they put Joel Embiid on them. They kind of sagged off of him and said, hey, if you're going to hit threes, but we're not going to let you get into this paint here. And I think his reluctancy to shoot those threes in that series, it hurt the Raptors' offense and it made them very predictable. With that being said, you got Draymond Green guarding you most likely, who is a top 2 help defender, top 3 help defender in the league. If he's allowed to help because you're reluctant to shoot threes or just not making them all together, it's going to be even tougher on Kawhi, which will, to my first point, hurt his efficiency, because you're arguably the second best player on the Raptors. It's between you and Lowry. But if you're not looking to be aggressive or be a scorer, or if you just simply can't produce and hit corner threes or threes from the wing, and you let Draymond be Draymond on defense and rest and just monitor Kawhi, shadow at the block on isolations, and just be a pest on that back line, you guys don't have a shot. So I think Pascal Siakam's got to be aggressive. He's got to be a scorer. He's got to be a willing shooter and have an aggressive mindset. And I think the Raptors having home court advantage might help him out a little bit in that series, in that sense, because first 2 games at home, you can kind of be comfortable and ease into your first finals. You know what I mean? So I think that's something to look for. And then staying with this matchup on the other side, Pascal's a great defender, and he is an exceptional athlete for his size. You've got to be able to maintain Draymond Green from dissecting the defense and driving and kicking, because that's what he's great at. When he's coming off that short roll from that pass from Steph, and he can just play 4-on-3, he's amazing at that. When he gets the board, pushes it up and goes, he's amazing at that. So I feel like if you can stop the ball high, limit the transition, especially sparked by him, you can stymie a lot of what Golden State likes to do in transition. And I think that's going to be another big key in the series. And then third, the last big key I think I have for this series is the bench for both teams, especially Toronto. If Toronto wants any shot of hoisting that Larry O'Brien trophy, they have to thoroughly outplay the bench of the Golden State Warriors. Name for name on the bench, Toronto has that depth that should be a problem for Golden State. Throw Norman Powell out there for big defensive minutes and timely shots. Fred VanVleet's been amazing. The last 3 games of the Bucks series, once his child was born, he's shooting like 14 of his last 17 from 3-point range. He's always been a personal favorite of mine to watch because of how hard he plays, how gritty he is, and how he can make timely shots, and just, he frankly don't look scared of nobody to me, and I really appreciate that. He's got to outplay whoever it is who comes off the bench, whether that's Livingston or Quinn Cook or both. You really got to outplay them both. Serge Ibaka's got to be big on the glass. He's got to be big protecting the rim. And he also has to hit threes himself, because like I said, when Draymond is guarding you and he's able to be a help defender, the Warriors' defense goes from an 8.5, 9 to a 9.5, 10. You know what I mean? So I think across the board their bench just has to be thoroughly better, because even if it's slightly better or a little bit, like it's marginal or even, that favors Golden State, because I think their starting 5 is going to outplay Toronto's. So the bench has to thoroughly outplay Golden State. As far as my prediction in this series, I personally, even without KD, I want to say Golden State in 5, but I'm going to give a lot more respect to the Raptors and say Golden State in 6. I think they win in Oracle. It'll be a fitting story to end Oracle's life. Essentially, the Oracle Arena will be their last game. Will be their three-peat. I think that would be a fitting story for this dynasty.